Okay, sorry. Here we go. Yo, what up, everybody? That's right. It's your boy, TBob, back live on location here at the Old Key West Resort down in Orlando, Florida. This is Snaps. I'm TBob Baby. He is Aaron Murray. I've missed y'all all dearly over the past week. But yeah, I've been at Disney World. We'll get into that in a second. First off, Aaron, what's up, man? It's so good to see you again. I really did miss you the last few days as I was gallivanting around the happiest place on earth.
You look like you don't know what sunscreen is. You look a little burned.
I think I look nicely
burned
colored. I think I look well colored right now.
You look like if I touched you, you would scream.
No way, dude.
Pain.
No. Okay. I'm not gonna argue what I look like, but let the record show there is no pain. There's no pain whatsoever.
Look bad.
I don't agree with you at all. Anyway, I've had an absolutely fantastic time. I don't know what it is, dude. So first off, if any of y'all like, how's this motherfucker go to Disney so much? I'm a spoiled bitch, and my in-laws joined that DVC, the vacation club. And so basically, once to like twice a year, we get to come kick it down here, and they fucking, basically whatever. The point is I'm a spoiled bitch, but the other point is I'm a sicko for this shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get tired of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're here on day 5 of like 12-hour days, like, 7-8 miles a day, and like, take your 3 kids all the time. And all I'm thinking is like, fuck, I don't want to go home. Mm-hmm. Like I could keep attacking this shit, dude. I love it. And every time I learn something new that absolutely changes the game. And Aaron, this may have been the biggest addition to my Disney dad repertoire yet, dude.
I need it. We're going in like 4 months. Come on, give me all.
First off, I'm gonna have to explain to you the new multi-pass system, but that's a conversation for another day. So this is probably gonna be no, this is for anybody if you're coming with children. The value, a carabiner is like what you use in rock climbing, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? A little carabiner, you like hooked to the ropes, right? Okay. If you have a nice stroller that you like to bring, get yourself a comically large carabiner. I mean, one that looks like it came out of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you got shrunk, and you're like, oh my God, this is a normal carabiner, but it looks fucking giant. So we actually brought a second stroller because we had 3 kids. I think we may use it. And then finally, even though we brought all the way down here, I'm like, this seems like a fucking lot. I'm not doing this. But this second one that we just bought off a neighbor recently had this just massive carabiner that I'd never seen one so big. And I was like, okay, whatever, dude. You know what? This is actually probably pretty helpful. Okay. When it comes down to breaking down a stroller for like a bus ride or any of that bullshit, you can throw every single bag you have on the carabiner. Every one.
Nice.
And so all of a sudden, you're not like fumbling around like one of those infomercial people spilling your goods everywhere and embarrassing yourself. You're pulling a one swift, unclick, good to go, folder up, and we are on the fucking move. You lose the stroller. You have to split the party for some reason. Throw on your backpack, hook the carabiner with every single bag on your backpack. You're like a fucking merchant out of a video game. Carry a medieval tinkerer with just thousands of bags of goods on which you're seeking to sell town to town. It is. I cannot exaggerate.
We need pictures. We'll
get all this.
Okay.
I've been building up a lot that I just look when I come here. I check the fuck out. And so I've not responded to any texts or calls or looked at the internet until about 2 hours ago. I started grinding the YouTube recaps of Saturday games. So everybody needs to know this is the game we're going to play. Aaron watched the games. I watched the 15 minutes of YouTube, and I'm going to tell you.
So a normal show.
Yes, a normal show. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, bitch. Normally I'm fucking locked in my office all Saturday.
Jacking off.
I mean, that's a long day in the office. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say that a halftime beat sesh never happens. Like that That ain't off the book. That ain't off the cards at all. On the whatever. You get what I'm saying. All right. So the games we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk Ohio State, Penn State. We will talk Texas A&M, South Carolina. We'll talk Georgia, Florida, and we will talk Louisville, Clemson. And let's start in the Big Ten with Ohio State and Penn State, because this was very impressive resilience from the Buckeyes for me here. We talked about in these massive games this season, a lot of times the home team has been the one coming out on top, and I thought that was going to be enough to push Penn State over the top. And then they go up 10-0 after a pick six. Gus Johnson was about to lose his fucking mind on that call. I thought his soul left his body. And this is where, I've always been a bit of a Ohio State doubter. Probably a bit of laziness on my own part more than anything. But even with the weapons that Ohio State had, Aaron, when it was 10-0 in that environment against that defense, I didn't think Ohio State could get it done. And so to find a way and to come up with the stops when they had him, we'll talk about it. But what a toughness test passed for Ohio State. Will Howard, Quinshon Judkins, the defense, just the whole team, top to bottom. This was a massively impressive win for the Buckeyes.
Well, this is twice now in a month that they've gone on the road into two of the most hostile environments in the country, and was a possible holding, or not holding penalty, but a pass interference, offensive pass interference from being able to attempt a field goal to win a game against Oregon, the now number one team in the country, and then going on the road against Penn State in that hostile environment, and then end up winning this football game. So there is no one as battle tested as Ohio State. Maybe Georgia, obviously going on the road to Tuscaloosa, going on the road to Austin, them winning their second go round as well against Texas, losing the first one to Alabama. But man, really impressed with Ohio State. And they won it in a way that I didn't think they would win it. And that was dominating the lines of scrimmage. The offensive line dominated what they did, mixing and matching up front, finding the five that they needed to go on the road into Penn State, into that environment against the defense line, and not only just win, but dominate. 180 yards rushing, 4.7 yards per carry with that offense line that we were dogging all week, and then flip it over to the other side, and they dominated the lines of scrimmage on defense as well. So the toughness on the road in the trenches got them that win, and that was something that I did not think I could count on for Ohio State, mostly on the offense side of the football.
It's funny, Aaron, because we sit here and we talk for so long about the sport of football, and we try to be creative and we try to come up with the angles. But I mean, I look at this game, I look at South Carolina A&M, I look at Clemson, Louisville, and it all starts up front. I mean, right? Like at the end of the day, it is so rare in which you can overcome a distinct disadvantage in the trenches. And that gets back to kind of like the finish from Ohio State team, or for the finish of Ohio State. That was some real man shit.
Yep.
I mean, Warren has that unbelievable play to get it down to the 3-yard line. End of the game. Chance to score, take the lead at home, all the momentum on Ohio, on Penn State side, and they try to run it 3 times in a row, and Ohio State just fucking rocks him on the jaw.
It was bad play call. It was bad play.
I agree. No, look, I'm like, why not put Warren?
You.
Why not put Warren in the Wildcat again? And just I feel like Warren has to touch the ball there somewhere.
Give it to him 3 times. Give it to him 3 times.
I agree.
3 times.
But still, despite that, Penn State said, no. We want to fucking square up and trade blows. Let's bang, like 2 UFC fighters deciding to stand up, a little old school mano a mano. And Ohio State, not only do they break him on the stop, but the 4-minute offense to end the game. That is, and I know this is cliche and I apologize, but the same way that you see Aaron get his dick card for an anticipatory throw across the middle behind a zone defender, maybe watching an offense run the ball when the other team knows they're going to run the ball and just lift them up like Bane did Batman and just break them over your knee. That is some of the best football in the world to me. That is a sweet, sweet vintage.
What has kept Ohio State from winning a championship the past few years? What has kept them from winning the Big Ten? It's they have not been physical at the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And listen, this offensive line still is far from perfect. This was a great first step to maybe building the confidence for them going forward. But they did. Ryan Day reestablished himself and his identity defensively, and now they've turned themselves into one of the best defenses in the country. There's no doubt about that. Even that was a tough game against Oregon. That's a really good Oregon offense. I still firmly believe Ohio State is one of the best defenses in the country. In the offense, if the offense line can do what they did in this game, that is the missing piece. That physicality, that nitty gritty in the trenches. Can you win? It's like that was good to see for Ohio State. For Penn State, it comes down to Drew Aller still played great. Drew Aller throwing the football. I thought Drew Aller running the football was the most dynamic player for their offense besides obviously Tyler Warren.
Well,
they don't have receivers. I said this weeks ago.
Wait,
they don't have skill besides Aller.
So again, credit the YouTube highlight packages here. Because right here, I wanted to ask about this. Penn State's weapons couldn't get anything against Buckeye secondary. Aller's legs, yeah, sure, they make a play every now and then. But, obviously, Ohio State's going to take that. And then over time, the pass rush starts to win. So I'm not, I'm not crazy, right? Like Ohio State secondary had their weapons blanketed the fuck down, except for Warren maybe getting through a couple times.
There are no weapons. There's no weapons.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No, yes, you're right. I mean, they have their receivers. I mean, their skill positions. Yes. They had them on fucking lockdown.
Ohio State had the ability to say we can play man on man on the outside. We can lock those guys up. We have to worry about 44, no doubt about it. That guy is, I think, maybe my favorite player in all of college football this season. But we can commit more guys to the run because we can win the one-on-one matchups defensively on the outside. Penn State does. How did they beat USC? Tyler Warren had one of the greatest games for a tight end of all time.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
They don't have consistency, elite playmakers that can win on the outside against good corners. They don't. And that's why Drew had to do what he did with his legs early on the football game. And that's the reason why they couldn't get the run game going from their two talented running backs, because Ohio State one is already good up front. And when you can add a seventh defender in the box, there's just too many guys. You have to win your one-on-ones at the receiving spot, and they don't have those players right now. So Penn State's great defense. I think Drew's playing a terrific season. You have two great running backs. You have an elite tight end. But what's going to hold them back is they don't have skill for the receiving position.
Well, and you know what else, Aaron? They have a dangerous offensive setup when you combine it with a coach of the tenor of James Franklin, because I used to see this in my own days with Les Miles back in the day, where their rushing attack is good enough to beat 98% of the teams that they play.
Yep.
So those weapons aren't really needed. But when you run in to the big dogs who can stop your main punch, which most teams cannot, they cannot stop, they cannot counter Penn State's main punch. But when you run into someone who can, what's your counter? What's your second option? And Ohio State's an awful matchup. Like if you're telling me Ohio State can just straight up out tough Penn State, then how does Penn State win? They don't. And also Michigan, the Buckeyes are going to be getting some golden pants this year, dude. This Ohio State team should take fucking revenge on Michigan for the last 3 years. I think they're going to obliterate them.
Well, you bring up Michigan there, and Michigan has not had the receivers in years past to threaten, but they were just so much more physically dominant.
They could out physical them. Penn State couldn't. They
couldn't. And I thought Penn State could do that this year. Maybe not to the same extent of Michigan, but the fact that you're at your home, you have a quarterback that can at least maybe keep a defense honest. It was feeling like there was they could out physical Ohio State in this ball game. And they didn't. So, yes, major credit to Ohio State for actually showing up in a game and being the more physical football team on both lines of the scrimmage.
And Quinshon Judkins, I mean, this is why you go sign him, right?
Yeah.
Late in the season, he doesn't have the wear and tear that he's had the last couple of years. Actually, probably a bit it's kind of funny. I think his lighter statistical output this year, which is still very good on average, I wonder if that ends up almost being more favorable in NFL eyes because it takes a little wear and tear off. Because like they know what Quinn Judkins can do. You can obviously see the skill set, only he's not being able to ask to carry the team all season. And now late into the year, he can keep those legs even stronger and more underneath him and maybe even start to gain a little bit of momentum here at the end of the year where Ole Miss is kind of running him into the ground for the last couple of years.
Are there any questions about Ohio State in your mind right now? Like I feel like Will Howard's answered the bell. I mean, that was a terrible.
Yeah, no, look, okay, I'll read.
But
he's
played great.
Will Howard. I said, Will Howard, what a win. I'm on board. How can it not be with that finish? There will be worse matchups, but if you're just going to sit back there and bang, you don't want Ohio State. Like, yeah, so yeah, Will Howard has won me over for sure. He's capable of winning national championship. That's what you're asking, especially in the context of this year's field of teams.
Yep.
Where, as we'll talk about, there continues to be this kind of theme of no prohibitive favorite. But a massive win. And, you know, it's funny. We just talked about from the Buckeye perspective, but about as brutal as you could imagine for Penn State fans. I mean, you are in one of the worst spots in sports, whereas you have a guy that actually is objectively awesome. And I hate that, you know, I don't hate it. It's how it works. So we boil these conversations down to something like James Franklin. But there's an obvious pattern here. He is so fucking good, but the ultimate kind of close but no cigar sort of coach. And it's brutal because it's not easy to get there. Like it's next to impossible to be as consistent as James Franklin has been, but that consistency extends from the wins to the losses as well. And that's now 8 years in a row. I think it's a 4th in a row at home.
But at least they're going to most likely still get to 11 wins this season.
Yeah.
So no, at least it'll be one up. I mean,
we'll have to see. I mean, we thought about Clemson as well, and you know, we'll go get there.
Yeah, but they got Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, Maryland.
Watch out for PJ Fleck to row the boat. No, I don't know. You're probably right. You know exactly because they're run game, right? Like none of those teams will be able to counter the run game. You're right.
At least the wins have been. The difference between them and Clemson is Clemson beat a bunch of teams that had losing records.
True.
At least Penn State's beat Illinois. At least when they beat USC, they had a winning record. They beat Wisconsin. So
not that strong of a resume, but stronger than Clemson.
Stronger than Clemson's resume. A lot stronger than Clemson's.
Yeah, but for Penn State fans, I don't know what to tell you because I don't think it's like a fire James Franklin thing, but like I also know how unbelievably frustrating this has to be. You're kind of like Marvin Lewis with the Bengals, right? That the same success that made you so great at first is now your greatest enemy because you cannot overcome yourself. But hey, hell of a win for the Buckeyes, dude. I'm on board. Next game up, one that the final score both does, but also does not fully tell the story of what was a pretty fucking wild nighttime battle in Williams-Brice, Texas A&M on the road, taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Gamecocks win 44-20, but my God, guys, what a scene. Nighttime, couple of redshirt freshmen quarterbacks out there battling against each other. 2 young men being put on hard positions. Aaron, to me, the Simon touchdown at the end that kind of looked like I think maybe was going to seal it or took a big lead late for South Carolina. That environment just looked fucking incredible. The LED lights were out. The red fireworks are popping off in the back. They got the low camera angle on Simon and the black South Carolina uniforms. And it was just like, holy fuck, that is cool college football. And we'll get into the game itself, but yeah, man.
I told you the environment, man.
Yeah,
that
I know,
environment.
I know.
I mean, so. By the way, we had Alyssa laying on as you for Thursday. She was terrific. Absolutely, she is just a superstar. Obviously, went to South Carolina. She had the weekend off. She went to the game, and I was trying to tell her the whole show, like, y'all gonna win. She's like, no, I don't think so. Like, publicly stating, I'm going to the game and I think we're going to lose. I'm like, that's not the time to pick against your home team when you're going to be on the sideline for your one weekend off.
No, dude. Alyssa knows what she's doing. That's a classic reverse jinx, right?
I know.
That's a classic. Like, then if you lose, you're like, look, I was being objective. But if you win, you're like, fuck, I don't give a shit. Yeah, fuck yeah, we won. Who cares?
That's what I love it. Well, anyway,
exactly. That is an Aaron Murray classic.
But I kept telling everyone that place is crazy. And then when you have a good football team at night, it is. I know you're not going to believe it, but it's up there with LSU. It's up there with A&M. There is an incredible vibe. There's an incredible vibe there.
I played a night game there, and it was one of the best environments I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
I think I always say about it. It was like a giant. Now, okay, I'm saying this. You got to let me finish. It was like a giant high school atmosphere, not in terms of like high school intensity, but the vibe was so friendly and happy, and like everyone, and there just seemed to be kind of a melting of that crowd that you don't see in some other places, and everyone was just like vibing and fucking into it, and Sandstorm's playing, and it was just,
it's a rave.
It was, it's a rave. Yes, exactly. It is. It's like a rave. And these are not spoiled fans. That's the other part about this, right? No. These are not fans that need great football to be put in front of them face to get going. Like they know that they're the tough ones. They've been through the fucking hard times.
I'm struggling so much right now because I know they're 5-3. They're 3-3 in the conference. I think South Carolina is a top 10 football team in college football.
I know.
It's just crazy.
I know they've had some.
If
you could go back in time, the LSU one's obviously just.
If they just have one of those games, if
Ole Miss beat the fuck out of them.
If they're 6-2 right now,
who else did they lose to? Who's their
Ole Miss is the one they got to beat. But the Alabama one, the Norse fumbled the football. They're winning.
Oh God,
they're winning it. The Norse fumbles it. Yeah, and then they still missed the field. Obviously, that was one. LSU won the pick six.
I remember. Yeah, no, I know.
So they are. If they just would have won one of those, which they're leading,
maybe a playoff team.
I mean, hell, if Lenore does get hurt for LSU. They would be.
They win.
6-2.
Yes, Lenore, yes, 100%.
They'd be 6-2, and I'd be looking at their schedule, saying right now, "Oh my God, South Carolina's going to be 10-2 going to the playoffs." That is how good I think they are playing right now. You know what's funny? I had on week 1 versus Old Dominion, and I came on the show and said, "Holy shit, they may be the worst team in the SEC."
Well, I mean, look, you had a young quarterback, right? And he's continued to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And the offensive coordinator, like that's the thing too, is I feel like we've seen a lot of young quarterbacks and their coordinators this year in the SEC. And it's like, you can feel these guys getting more comfortable with one another as the season has gone on. And it's leading to these guys being put in better positions to succeed. And they're getting experience, right? So they're playing better as well. Yes. But like you're seeing guys take massive strides in Lenore Sellers because of what an athletic freak he is, but he's still like a really good young quarterback who's also just a giant and can run. It's like, man, his ceiling starts to feel, and you're not asking him to do like, whatever. The point is, Lenore Sellers' potential feels extremely high, and he's gotten so much better from that first week.
Well, you just take care of the football, and golly, I mean, how many sacks did he avoid in that football game?
I know that's what I'm saying.
It felt like a dozen sacks that A&M designed to blitz or one-on-one up front, and somehow he Houdini'd got out of it, made a play, or even threw the ball away to avoid a 6-7 yard sack, and it just. Those hidden yards that he was able to preserve for his football team or then create plays outside the pocket. It was unbelievable. You know who's really impressed me right now?
Well, it's especially striking, but it's especially striking, Aaron, in contrast to last week's game against Garrett Nussmeier.
Yep.
Right? Simply because it does show you just if you're going to make it nowadays as a pocket passer, and you're seeing this Carson Beck right now, you got to be so damn perfect.
You saw with yours. You saw yours.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be so
mobile
damn
guys
perfect.
Just give you so many, like when things aren't going well.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh my God, South Carolina's offensive line showed up and they balled out. They didn't give up a single sack. Dude, if Lenore Sellers is not your quarterback, you probably gave up 6 sacks in the football game. You played better. I'm not saying that South Carolina's offensive line.
No, they ran block well. They ran block well for sure.
They ran block great. They had probably one of the best. Like they exceeded expectations. But to be sitting here screaming, "Oh my God, they didn't give up a sack versus A&M! Oh my God!" No, they didn't give up a sack because Lenore Sellers is 250 fucking pounds. That's why they didn't give up a sack. So,
yeah,
you know
bro,
who's
when
also
he lowered the shoulder and just
oh
fucking trucked old
he
boy,
like
dude.
he
He's like,
lifted
it's
he
so funny because
lifted.
you could see him remember, like, oh wait, I'm fucking bigger than you.
Well, he
Like
slid
he's like,
early in the
okay,
game.
fuck it.
That's
Yeah,
why first
no,
possession
I
he
know,
slid.
no, I know,
Yeah,
and then it's like, but it was like in the moment you could almost see the
well,
light
he
bulb pop
hesitated.
as he hit the
Yes,
hezzy. He
they
hit the
both
hezzy. He was like, oh
stopped.
wait.
They both stopped. He lit and they like jumped and lifted. So like,
He's
yeah,
like, oh
6'3",
shit, fuck you, bitch.
242. You know who looks good right now is Rocket Sanders.
I was about to say, first felt like
Fast.
yeah,
He looks
and
fast again.
he had really good plays against LSU, but it was kind of boom or bust.
Yeah.
Whereas this felt like the first major stage Rocket Sanders moment in a couple of years. For me, it felt like he was. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
He was banged up last year.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he
But
was
2 years
banged up.
ago, he was awesome, right? And then he was injured
Yes.
last year,
Yep.
and now it feels like Rocket Sanders finally back to that name, Rocket.
Yes. 2 years ago, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Last year, 209 yards. He went from 6.5 yards per carry to 3.4. So he looks healthy. He looks fast. That is two big men back there in the backfield.
Here's what else, though, I want to highlight, which is a bit of a credit to Texas A&M and then even further credit to South Carolina. For A&M to lose Le'Veon Moss down 14 was brutal. Then in that environment to come back with a redshirt freshman quarterback in that environment without Le'Veon Moss to come back and take a 20-17 lead was actually amazing.
Yep.
Like at that point, you're like, oh shit, A&M's actually going to get this shit done. And then it's even kind of, even more impressive that it wasn't like just some fluky thing, that it's 20-20 at half and South Carolina comes out and just statement says, no
more. Yeah.
No, like no more. Like, this has been a good game, but this is our house. And no, and you're the 2 4-1 stops from South Carolina, which, I mean, that's up there. That's just some grown man ass football. I thought they had a lot of.
And we talked about the offensive line for A&M was going
to
be, and A&M's offensive line is good, but South Carolina's D line in that environment, just I will say this: Marcel Reed is a dog, though. Like,
hold on, I want to get to Marcel. Okay, let's get to Marcel Reed then. No, let's get to him. Let's get to him now.
For a guy that is a redshirt freshman, that was without Le'Veon Moss, that has good, not elite playmakers around him. It's not like A&M is just loaded with like these elite receivers. It was the Marcel Reed game. Like, Marcel, if A&M was going to win that football game, and why did they beat LSU? Obviously the defense made plays in the second half for LSU, but Marcel Reed,
100%.
he put the team on his back. That is my worry right now for A&M. It is obviously you have the one quarterback is just unable to do it. Just too many turnovers, too many issues. Marcel Reed is that dynamic playmaker. He's got the confidence. He's a little bit cocky. I love him as a quarterback. I truly love him as a quarterback, but he needs some help around him. He needs some help.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and what we also got to highlight is, and sorry guys, I'm having a bit of acid reflux. I think I ate like 10 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken tonight. My father-in-law just ordered a massive bucket and a bunch of biscuits and a bunch of potatoes and corn. And I just fucking kept making plate after plate and just dousing it in that KFC gravy. I mean, drowning it all, mixing it up into one amalgamated mash. And like eating the fried chicken's like a little like wet. And it's like a little like, because it's been sitting in the box coming to the room, but I ain't give a fuck, dude. I was making up for 3 long days of eating dog shit by just eating pure good dog shit. Anyway, the other thing to highlight about Marcel Reed here is he played that well, Aaron, and the situation that he came in was actually 1,000 times tougher this week. And you might say, well, what do you mean, TBob? When he came in last week, they were like down big, like that was an impossible hill. But that's the point. Last week, he comes in the game as a changeup with nothing to lose, everything to gain. Like, nobody's going to care if you do bad. All it is you could come in and be the hero, and you're getting short fields every time. Now you're the known starter on the road with one of the best defenses in the entire country with an entire week to prepare for you as the main guy. And then he still played so well.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what really struck me here, Aaron, was a play that didn't even count. Really reinforces how razor thin the margin is. And that's that pick six that got called back.
Yeah.
Because again, he'd played so well all day, right? And yet that one mistake, had it stood, it was just one mistake. But like, and you can appreciate this better than anybody, given that you live this shit. But I cannot fathom the pressure of a quarterback where it's like, you just got to be perfect, dude.
Well, he had to be perfect. He had to play perfect football in this moment. And he didn't play perfect football. I thought he played really damn good football for the situation. But that's going to be A&M right now offensively. He at least gives you a shot. You know, they're going to be 9-2 hosting Texas.
Yeah.
And it's a play-in game at that point. You win, you're in the playoffs. You lose, you're out. But you give him 2 more weeks to keep going. I like their chances of making that game competitive and possibly winning it.
Last thing on this game, shout out Shane Beamer. Not only have you put together a team of fucking dudes, like it's insane. Simon at tight end, are you kidding me? That touchdown,
he was flying.
He's like dodging tackles, hurdling people. Like what the fuck? But Shane Beamer got that dragon that all these coaches chase when they take on an uphill battle of a job. He got that excellent trophy for the case. He got that signature win.
Mm-hmm.
You love to see a good signature win. Shout out Shane Beamer.
Well, they got a couple 2 years ago. They got a couple.
Yeah,
years ago.
But you can have multiple, and you keep adding them to your case.
Now. That's 3 now.
That's what I'm saying, because you got Tennessee right a couple years ago.
Clemson. Tennessee, Clemson back to back.
Yeah, and then that, but that was kind of have back to back, same year. Was it fluky? Now look, signature win another year. Yep. Shane Beamer starting to stack Siggies, and now just wait for the offseason where everybody comes and pays all of South Carolina's players to leave. Because 3 losses,
Holy shit, dude! I'm telling you. I got their game this weekend. I'm fucking pumped. I got South Carolina Vandy this weekend.
Oh, good game, dude. Look at you moving on up in the world, dude.
I'm freaking pumped. All right. I'm pumped. I love both these teams this year, so it'll be a good one to call.
All right, let's get to your game. And because you watched this one so in depth, and I obviously did not, I think I almost have some questions for you here. I'm talking about Georgia, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia wins 34-20. Obviously, a final score not indicative of how the game went.
Nope.
Carson Beck continues to struggle, make a lot of mistakes. Florida playing very well when Lagway was in there. Aaron's telling you all year he loves Lagway.
Can this be real? Can you play well but make mistakes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Look, you can, at the end of the day, results, and this is a funny part of this job. We talk about everything so in depth, and we analyze, and we think critically. But at the end of the day, everything is filtered through the lens of results.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you throw 3 picks, but you win, of course, that's like, okay, you still made the plays to win. It's bad, but you still won the game. If you throw like Marcel, or like the Marcel thing we were just talking about, it sucks though, because if you throw the 1 pick, but it's the big one and you lose, well, then you make too many mistakes. You fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's
Carson made too many mistakes. I'm just saying he didn't play bad. He just made too many mistakes.
I mean, okay, but if he had lost, you wouldn't be saying that. You'd say he played bad. Yeah. Yes. I think you'd be saying he played bad, probably.
Well, no, he would have had to play.
He would have had to play worse to lose the game. Yes, to be fair. Yes. So I understand what you're getting at, but I guess what I'm getting at is, like, ultimately, we just filter everything through the result, and then we kind of grade you on that scale. So yes, you get a win here because you made some really good plays. Okay, so let me ask you this then, because this is a narrative that we played around with covering LSU with Garrett Nussmeier. Is Carson Beck, do you think he feels like he has to stand on his head every play? Do you think he feels like he just has to do too much?
Yeah, but
I'm asking. I'm not saying. I'm
asking.
No,
I think he does. I don't like the comparison because I don't think Garrett should feel that way, because Garrett has the best offense, one of the two best tackles in America. He's got incredible playmakers that are proven. I think Carson is doing too much.
Doesn't have a run game, though.
Doesn't. I get that. Yeah, 100%. Carson 100% is trying to do too much. I think Carson, because of the shakiness to start the season on offense, you've had offensive line issues because of injury. ETN was out. 2 of your receivers were suspended. A couple of your receivers had drop issues to start the season. I think for him, there's a lack of trust. I think there is I have to be the playmaker for us to have success. Prime example, it was a 3rd and 10. There's a dig route with a sit down. And Florida plays cover 2. It's what it's meant for.
Yeah.
You're going to read the linebacker. If the linebacker drops in the coverage, you take the check down and you hope that, hey, Lawson, catch it. I'm going to make a guy miss and get the first down. I'm going to give you 4 yards of separation. You make a guy miss, get the first down. Instead, he tries to force the ball. It gets tipped, almost picked again, incompletion. And to me, that was the sign of, oh my God, he doesn't trust his guys to make a catch, make a guy miss. He thinks he has to make this heroic throw in order to get the first down. That is prime example of not trusting the guys around you to do their job. You're trying to do everyone's job for them. He can't do that. He didn't do it a year ago. He's doing it right now. He's not playing in the system.
So that brings me to my next question then. So is that because last year he had what is making him feel that? If you're saying he does feel like he's trying to do too much right now, what is making him feel that? Is it more Mike
I think it was the lack of early success.
Is it Mike Bobo or is it losing Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey?
I think it is squarely the fact that there was so much inconsistency to start the season. Drops.
I mean, combined with, you don't have a weapon like McConkey or Bowers either.
No, Bowers is leading the NFL in receptions as a rookie. McConkey's kicking ass at
No,
LA.
That's what I'm saying. So,
yes.
that's what I'm saying. As we've seen those guys dominate the NFL, those are massive losses for Carson to have to suffer from one year to the next.
But I don't want to sit here and say Georgia's not bad at the skill position. This isn't Penn State. Georgia does not have a Penn State issue where there's a lack of talent on the outside. They have talent. Is it Brock? Is it McConkey? No. Is it LSU? No. But it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not bad. I don't know. And from the outside looking in, it doesn't feel that way. But I will see to your judgment. No, I think Penn State feels like probably the most extreme example. But it feels like Alabama, but without even having Ryan Williams. It's when you talk about Alabama, you don't say that Alabama has skill on the outside. You say
but Bernard's come along for Alabama. Bernard's come around as a reliable number 2 behind Ryan.
No, look, I'm not trying to. I am offering, like I said, this is just my perspective.
It's good to get outside. I appreciate
they have very good weapons. My perspective is not that they have very good weapons on the outside, but maybe they'll prove me wrong in crunch time. So are you down with any of the Mike Bobo complaints?
No, God, I think the Mike Bobo complaints are idiotic. I thought the game plan, watching the game live, it didn't feel great. But it was one of those things, as we've said before, it's way better once you watch the tape. It's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is.
Yeah.
Watching the tape again this morning, I was like, wow. I even texted Bobo. I was like, dude, y'all moved the fucking ball. You moved it up and down the field. They had 309 yards passing and 150 yards rushing. They moved the football. They got stuffed in the red zone a couple times, and then you had 3 stupid interceptions.
So what's interesting, though, what you just described, could you see that that's been consistently Georgia this year? Moving the football, but struggling in the red zone and throwing some stupid picks.
But that goes back to lack of who can win one-on-ones. In the red zones, either you better dominate up front running the football, or you better have someone that can win one-on-one battles, because everything is so much more condensed. Who is the guy that can win one-on-one battles right now?
I forgot. I meant to bring this up in the Penn State game. So with that kind of one-on-one thing in mind, how do we feel about the 4th down, or excuse me, how do we feel about the goal line fade? because I can't believe we didn't mention that in Penn State, Ohio State. They had that insane Ignoso play or whatever there right before half.
Oh, that was
but
wild.
Like it's a play that is hated by fans, but it's also one of those plays where when it works, you're just like, oh my God, the receiver's awesome. That was awesome. And you kind of forget about it. But when it doesn't, you're like, goddamn fourth down fade. There's only one option. Blah, blah. Like, as a quarterback, how did you feel about the fourth down fade? Or not the fourth down fade, the goal line fade.
Well, I always had good receivers, so I loved it. I mean, I had AJ Green, I had Malcolm Mitchell, I had Tavares
So you're
King.
just gonna go back shoulder, just over the top, kind of
I
back
had Chris
shoulder
Conley. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, if you have dudes, it's fucking great. I would love to know my percentage.
Tried to run it.
Yes. Or they should have put 40. They should have put Warren out there for 6, let him try to win it.
So let's talk about DJ Lagway here, because you've been a fan of him all year long. He looked like he was loving the stage. Everybody would have loved to see what would have happened if DJ Lagway could have stayed in this game. But what did you see out of Lagway here?
I mean, listen, the big throw was great. I didn't see a guy that was scared, and it's hard to judge because he wasn't out there a lot. But the fact that he looked good running the football. He looked amazing on the touchdown pass over the top. The 47-yarder. So
yeah,
would he have made a mistake at some point in the game? Maybe. Would he have made some incredible plays? I would bet yes. He probably would have made some pretty damn impressive plays. He's that good of a quarterback. But to go from him, and no offense to a guy that didn't really play at Yale, who I think walked on, that's a significant drop. There was once DJ went down, there was no chance in hell that Florida was going to win the game. Which,
bro, we had a third
more
string
respect that they made the game.
When I was in college, we had a guy, Andrew Hatch, who was like second or third string at Harvard, and then he came to LSU, and he was starting at Auburn later that year, because that's how crazy the kind of quarterback group management had gone down. So yeah, these things happen sometimes. Ooh, I just found some peanuts in my pocket. Actually, look at that. That's some peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
I will say this. I'm a fan of Billy Napier. I think Billy should keep his job.
So that's interesting. The Gators are moving in the right direction.
Yep.
Injuries have exacerbated an already awful situation. Then you got the bad snap that happens on the field goal. But then you tie it 2020 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
They're winning at half.
That's what I'm saying. A team full of backups. Napier's actually kind of doing a good job, but there's no way you would want him if you were a Florida fan.
Your best corners out, your best receivers out, your top 2 quarterbacks are out, and you're winning against the number 2 team in the country at halftime.
I know, but if you were a Florida fan, how would you feel? I know it's complicated, dude. The shit is nuanced. The shit is complicated.
I know. If Florida, it's funny. I actually, I was talking to Cole Kubelik about an hour ago. He called me just to talk about the whole Carson thing, and we ended up talking a little bit about Florida too. Florida just had Billy's had the shittiest of luck between the quarterback issues with injuries and the schedule. You can't tell me the way Florida's playing right now.
No, I know.
If they had anyone else's schedule in the SEC, they probably win 8 football games.
Yeah, 8. Yeah. I'd probably agree with that.
I mean, you got
Florida feels like
Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, fucking down the stretch. Oh,
I don't know what Florida's SEC record will end like, but it feels like with a fair schedule, they should be a 4-4 SEC team.
Yes,
maybe 5-3, with a big win somewhere in there. No, yeah. I know, but with that stretch coming up, I don't think they're finishing. I think they're 3-5 would actually probably be pretty impressive. Or no, because that means only winning one more.
Which that's all they need to do is win one more.
Yeah, what to get bowl eligible? Or you're saying to save Billy?
Well, if they win one more, they're probably going to beat Florida State. If they win if they can find out somehow beat Texas, LSU, or Ole Miss, then yes, they would be bowl eligible. But I don't know what DJ's
LSU. That game's in the swamp. Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
So is Ole Miss though too.
Yeah, it depends on what DJ. You're right though. It depends on DJ's injury.
Yeah.
That said, more evidence that Georgia's still very, very, very good, but again, not some overwhelming force. Also, shout out to the Georgia-Florida game. because you love when a rivalry stands up to its billing, right? Even when you maybe feel like it's a bit unmatched going in, and the final score is not indicative of how good this actual game was. All right, last one on the list tonight, and that is Louisville going into Clemson. I mean, that's the craziest part. Going into Clemson and just absolutely kicking the Tigers' ass, dude. And it's funny because here we sit like the assholes that have been crowning Clemson for weeks now. And I should have realized I was just playing into your UGA agenda. You've just been trying to hype up this Bulldog week 1 win forever. And I'm the clown that's just been fucking dancing to your tune like the Pied Piper out here getting led astray. Because you're right, Clemson's been beaten up on bad teams. He just ran into like a good football team. You know, Louisville's good. You know, they're not great, but they're good. And I mean, they just fucking pushed Clemson around. It looks like, dude. Isaac Brown and that O-line put it on their ass.
I was shocked. Louisville won the lines of scrimmage. Louisville ran it. They created explosives in the run game. I mean, it's not like Tyler Shuck played a great game at quarterback. It was efficient. It was fine. You know, no turnovers.
But he did flip over Barrett Carter.
Well, that was pretty badass.
I mean, that shit was fucking
badass at the goal line. But no, they create
all 7 years of Tyler Shuck's experience led him to that moment, flipping over Barrett Carter to get into the end zone.
And I don't know what the first half, second half stat difference was, but you know, you look at if you just look at the stat sheet, like, oh, Phil Maffa ran for 171 yards. He must have had
a lot of cup that
was
came
the second
late.
half. It was in the second half. The first half, Clemson couldn't run it. It was, Cade had to be the runner. The offensive line wasn't getting it done. Receivers weren't getting open. Cade was very hesitant at times, which was surprising because he's been really good on time and rhythm as of late. But there's a couple ones that he was just gunshot. I was like, dude, throw the fucking football. Just throw it. Let it rip, man. And he's just holding on to it. So he didn't play a bad game by any means. Like, this is not on Cade Klubnik at all. This is on offensive line, couldn't get the job done in the first half.
Wow.
And overall, the defensive line just got their ass whooped. They gave up 210 yards rushing, 7.8 yards per carry.
You see, guys, it's never the fucking quarterback's fault, is it? You know, it's
I'm
the
not
fat
saying
guys,
that Cade did
but
not
when they
play
win,
into
it's
it.
always the
I'm not
quarterback's
saying
fault when
Cade
they
didn't
win.
play into it. Cade could have played better, yes. But the
No, I'm
entire
kidding, dude.
Clemson football team lost this.
Bro,
The entire
Clemson got their fucking ass whooped. The
They did.
special teams got their fucking dicks kicked in.
Yes.
The 2 blocked field goals. They damn near gave up a punt return touchdown for a touchdown, even though Corey Brooks is a fucking dog, and he's going to be a great NFL player, and he's a problem for anybody. But, no, Clemson got their dicks kicked in all 3 phases of the game.
They did.
And then, like some hoe-ass bitches, they decided to follow in the steps of old Texas football and try to bitch and whine and complain and litter their way to reversing a call. And can we really highlight that, Aaron? Littering. If you let me play this game with me. You drive behind a car and you see just like a cup and a bag of fast food just pop out the window. Are you like shocked?
Yes.
I mean, right? Like, you're like, what the fuck, dude? Who does that shit? Like, you see someone in public just throw trash on the ground. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? And that's what these little bitch ass fans are doing, dude. There is not a shittier thing to do on the goddamn planet than just littering. How little of a fuck do you have to give about everything and everybody around you to just throw your shit on the floor, okay? And for you, Clemson, you little holier than thou, we are, we're Clemson, we're different, we're nice, we're this, we're that. No, you're spoiled little bitches, just like Texas. Get the fucking littering. That shit pisses me the fuck off, dude. Like, I can remember, I saw like somebody throw like fast food out the window like 3 years ago, and it is still drilled into my head because I could not believe the audacity of it. Fuck you, Clemson. I'm glad y'all lost, and I'm glad y'all are out the playoffs. That's the shit you get.
Are they though?
Bitching about a call on an onside kick in a game where you're getting your fucking ass kicked.
Ass kicked.
Not even close. Yes, they're out of the playoff, bro.
No, they're not. They can
Who
win the
wants
ACC
to put
still.
Clemson in?
I'm
Yeah,
saying
I
if they
guess
win the
2 loss.
ACC,
Yeah. 2 loss. Yeah,
that's the only way.
so, yeah.
They're not in control, though. They're not in control.
I would hope not. At least I would hope not.
The problem is Miami and SMU have both beat Louisville, so I'm guessing that
It's a big win for Miami and FSU.
Yeah, so I'm
they would take the tiebreakers over them because it goes head to head, and then a lot of times it's common opponents next.
Yes,
and
so
they don't play.
So they would both need to lose 2 more games.
I believe so. Big win for SMU, both in terms of resume and
schedule too is BC. Virginia,
never forget
Cal.
Preseason SMU easiest Power 4 schedule in the entire country.
Taking advantage of it right now.
Fucking littering. And
you know, it's also the big winner in this one is Miami.
Dabo's dick.
If Miami has to play SMU for the fucking ACC championship game,
oh yeah, let's go. Cam Ward. Again, that Miami defense sucks, okay?
So bad.
But the offense is good enough to beat everybody on that schedule. The playoffs is going to get sketchy. But, like, the offense is good enough to carry them to the ACC championship. If it gets SMU, the offense is good enough to kick ass again that day. Even though SMU's offense will put up some points against Miami, too, now. That'll be a fucking shootout.
What is their scoring offense right now? 47 points per game. Oh my god.
That's not even the fried chicken.
He's so good. Crazy. Hey, did you see he made another play though where he's going out of bounds, throws it across the field for an interception?
No, I haven't got.
Oh my god.
Okay, but so I haven't got to watch
shit again. I'm like, oh my god, it's the second time he's done it. He threw it as he's going out of bounds to the opposite hash.
So, but isn't that just Cam Ward's? That is something that's always been a part of him. Right?
No, that's extreme. That is extreme.
No, but he did
extreme.
But he did it even more at Washington State. That's what he's always done. I mean, that's actually what
this is worse than the one I showed you at Cal. This is worse.
No, I know, but the preseason analysis on him coming out of Washington State was exactly that. That at times he would make these crazy mistakes because he was just trying to go for it like all the time.
Oh my god.
At least that's what like PFF and I feel like Athletic, like that's what everybody had written up on them. I'm not saying that I was like grinding Cam Ward tape in the offseason. I saw him beat I think it was I saw him go toe to toe with Washington last year. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But I didn't really watch it.
Someone else too. I forgot.
Yeah, they did. That's right. We were on him earlier in the year, like, ooh, this guy's good. And then we just kind of ignored him later. But anyway, shout out to the U. But anyway, fuck Clemson. Stop throwing trash. Be adults. Great win for Louisville, who continues to be a really solid ACC team, Like Louisville's in a pretty good spot football-wise, it feels like right now.
It was Oregon State. Oregon State was ranked 14th.
And
Cam Ward went 28 of 34, 404, and 4 touchdowns.
Yes. Just one of DJ Uyunglele's many career lowlights, which he sets a favorite team up for a very disappointing loss. I mean, the guy's fucking stacked more of him than just about anybody out there. I mean, that he's got a tough career, dude. He's had a really fucking tough career. It just has not gone right anywhere. I mean, he ended up winning 10 games at Oregon State, so that's good. 10-3. Whatever. All right. That'll do it for today's snaps. Hope you enjoyed this. So happy to be back. At the time of you listening to this, I'll probably be about 7 hours into like an 11-hour trip. So, wish your boy some luck. Hopefully an 18-wheeler doesn't try to drive under a bridge that's too low like last time we left here, and it just added like 2 hours to the trip. That was awful.
I'll pray for you. All right. We'll see you Tuesday for live.
Yeah, back live.
Back live, baby.
Thank you to Alyssa Lang for joining. Thank you to everybody. Sorry I've been out of touch, but we back, boys. We back. We'll see you in the next episode of Snaps. Holla.